Hello and welcome to Real Weird Sickos. My name is Tom Videogre, and I hope you're having a terrific morning, or terrific afternoon, or terrific night, no matter where you're listening to us. And you know who's also terrific? It's my dear friend, Jen. Jen, how you doing, mate?
I am terrific. God damn it, I love it when you say that to me, Tom.
Aww.
That just puts me just in a warm and fuzzy, giggly, tickly mood.
Absolutely, that's the best mood to be in. And you know who's also a bit of a tongue tickler? It's our good friend, Charles Kahn. Charles, how you doing, buddy?
Well, brother, let me tell you, nobody's as tickled, twisted, taint-wise as I am. And I'm going to give you all the kudos in the world for twisting me up.
And that's perfect handoff right there to one of my dearest friends in this wide blue world. That's my good friend, ManyKudos's. ManyKudos's, how you doing, Eddie?
My cock don't work no good no more since the accident. I fell over.
Got a hungry card.
Landed on the cock.
Did it go down the drain in the shower again? You didn't throw it over your shoulder when you took a shower, so it wouldn't go down the drain.
Yeah,
I've told you many times, if you do that, it's gonna rip right off your body.
Well, also my shower drain's like a trash fucking compactor or whatever, so it's just constantly
no.
Which is very threatening.
You've got the trash compactor inside the shower drain?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it like Kramer?
You say,
so it's
ouch.
like Kramer, you can make sandwiches in the shower and eat them?
Pretty much, yeah. Or like if you need to waffle stomp some FACs, it just takes it away.
Well, here's the thing. I think in Australia we don't really have garbage disposals in sinks. Around that's
not
mine.
Really.
Yeah, that's definitely a US invention.
So they're always in showers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So every time you make dinner, you have to go to the shower and
I am genuinely shocked. I am upset.
That's honestly like a selling point. Like that could actually get me to move to upside down land.
It is such a lawless
You guys
world.
don't like them?
You know what that's going to lead to? That feels like, a number one let loose in the shower. That's kind of gross. But a number two, I feel like that's a real problem. And with something that can break it up like that, I feel like the temptation to just never use an actual toilet, to be like Andre the Giant when he would go to Japan. Andre the Giant when he would go to Japan would rent 2 rooms. Kudos, he'd rent 2 rooms because he was so big he could not use a Japanese toilet. Andre the Giant would just use the bathtub in the second room.
That's king shit.
Yes.
Literally. That's amazing.
The guy would drink so much alcohol it would kill a normal man. Like I'm talking
passed out in the middle of the he passed out in the middle of the hotel suite and they just blocked him off.
Yeah, they couldn't get enough people to carry him, so they just let. Is it true he drank over 100 bottles of beer or cans of beer or something? Or
yes, and several bottles of wine on top of that too.
He really was a giant. On the flip, so that was Andre struggling to deal with Japanese toilets. I've heard the opposite story where, speaking of shitting in the shower, apparently, I can't remember where I read this. It might have been just a fucking green text story, but it was a story of in a student dorm, the plumbing kept getting all fucked up. And it turns out it was because there was this Asian exchange student who didn't feel comfortable using the Western style sitting toilets and wanted to do the squat toilet. But what he'd do is he would take a plastic bag into the shower and do a squat shit and then flush the bag. And obviously the plastic bags would just fuck up the
whole.
Had he just shit in the shower and sprayed his shame away.
Exactly.
Fine. It was the plastic bag. That was the problem.
All he had to do was get the plunger and just plunge the loaf down.
I think you said plunge it out
in the
his
shower.
It's the bag.
I think that would have been much easier.
Yeah.
Kudos. We should immediately clarify because I feel like this is very reminiscent of when the Miller Boys went onto another podcast and just let a joke run through. We don't have garbage disposals in the shower, I should say, before that gets out further than we conversation here. That is
I wish we did. Yeah, no, we
next you're going to tell me that Kudos still has his penis.
Yeah, wait.
You guys have been working me this whole time?
What? No comment. No comment.
Exactly.
People can just tell me anything. People just tell me anything. I heard today that the UTI infection will give old people weird strength.
Weird.
No. What happens is that something like a UTI to old people can like they're going to be really sensitive to something like that, especially if they have like dementia. And people with dementia can get really fucking strong,
right?
And not know how to control it. So that's part of where that comes from. So
they literally don't know their own strength.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like a future? Is that going to be like a future gym bro techniques to get dementia for the gains?
Bro, I got the sickest strength now. All we had to do was get dementia and a UTI.
Bro, I got so many gains, I've forgotten how many gains all my name is.
Kudos, do you even lift?
I mean, if you had a UTI, even if you didn't have dementia, if you had a UTI bad enough, it could fuck with you and make you confused.
Oh, absolutely.
If the infection was bad enough,
so
any infection that you get that's bad enough could fuck with you.
So an infection makes you crazy?
Yeah. I mean, look at syphilis. Look at hey, jump inside the spruce moose. I said hop in. Like Howard Hughes.
When he pulled the gun on him.
Yeah, that was really Howard Hughes, and he was really crazy because he had syphilis.
Well, I just thought the original Scarface.
I just thought he liked to piss in jars. Oh, you talking about Al Capone?
Yeah, Al Capone had syphilis.
Yeah, he had syphilis too. Yeah.
Oh, sure. It's really interesting thinking back on history and
how would you want to go, Kudos?
Exactly.
Penis ripped off.
Probably quickly and without knowing. I think that would be the.
But is there like a certain? There's got to be like an epic way to go in that.
What's the weirdest?
Would you be chased off a mountain by topless women all dressed like Velma from Scooby Doo?
That would be.
Jumping into a volcano would be fun.
Yeah,
because I don't want to I don't want the fear. That's the thing. I don't want to know that it's coming. I want to be like sitting back watching like my favorite movie or hanging out with my friends or something, and then just some guy comes up from behind me and caps me in the head, and I'm like, there's zero time to realize what's happening. It just has happened.
There's a great bad movie.
Fate to word.
There's a great bad movie that's so much fun from the 80s. Kudos. I'm sure you've never seen the movie Krull.
I have definitely
the Glaive.
Yeah, okay, it's the Glaive movie. Tom knows what I'm talking about. There's a character in that movie. It's a fantasy movie where the guy goes out on crazy adventures with a weird party full of weirdos. And one of the characters is a Cyclops who can see the future, but the only thing that he could ever see was how he would die. And so he would go into battles and laugh because he goes, I'm not going to die here. Why would I be afraid? And then at one point, he gets under a door holding it up to so the other characters can run through, and he just shakes his head. I can't come with you. This is where I die. And then the door just crashes down on top of him.
Damn. That's a really cool twist on the seeing the future concept. Yeah. Do you remember that stupid movie with Nicolas Cage where you could see 3 minutes into the future?
I can only see 3 minutes into the future at a time.
But then he it's a really weird movie that I saw.
Next? There were two movies that had the same premise, both starring Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, for a wee while he really wanted to see the future, and he thought maybe if he did some movies on it might really happen to him.
Well, it's like him as Ghost Rider. There's another movie where he goes to hell and fights people. I can't think of
I think it might be next. 3 minutes.
That's what's repeating. It's one of those movies that you kind of see in a hotel or on holiday with your dad or something. Where you're hotel
movies. There's so much fun.
I would never watch this normally, but I'm really strapped for. I guess these days I'd just read my phone or something, but back in the 2000s when I was a teenager, it's nope, just watching a Nicolas Cage movie because it's on one of the 3 channels.
Yeah, it's
fun the concept of the airplane movie of getting on a plane, just those are the movies. All right, let's watch the sequel to Hell Rider or Ghost Rider.
I did that. I watched some. It was a movie with John Cho, and then his daughter was missing. And it was it seemingly was okay, but then I realized I end, because of how fucking ridiculous the whole premise and the plot was, I was I would have never watched this horse shit otherwise.
Was it? So it was Asian Taken? Is that what I'm getting from the?
No, if she disappeared,
it's called Takeaway.
Something, and then it's he used her Facebook and all this shit.
That's a good joke,
it's searching.
Thank you.
You know what I don't understand? How did the bitch get speaking of taken, how did she get taken again and then again? And why didn't they call taken? And why didn't they call taken
again?
It's
the sequel should be called Tooken.
there's a great line in Die Hard 2, Die Harder, where he says, how does the same shit happen to the same guy in two different places?
Like just fully lampshading it. Like,
Yes.
yeah, we know. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must say the movie title. I'm going to have to die harder with a vengeance.
I love that Twitter account that just does that. They're like, it's called like movie lines or something, and it's just like fake lines from movies.
Oh, so like the guy,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go become the Joker.
Yeah.
That
Just
kinda
stuff like
shit.
that, like stuff that never happens in the movie, but they fully make it sound like, yeah.
But kudos, Mr.
Yes.
Dearest, kudos. I think we should talk about how we first met Maddie, because that was a bit of a hot minute ago, wasn't it, Maddie? Do you want to tell a bit of the story?
That was a blumpkin and a half.
Blumpkin.
Blumpkin. This is going to get spicy. I can't wait to hear
Kids,
it.
if you go Google
hell
Blumpkin
yeah.
right now and hit images without looking, you are in for an adventure.
By the way, speaking of that, quick aside, have you ever seen the guy who does the illustrations for sex things on Wikipedia? They're really
I
funny.
hope that this guy looks exactly like I expect him to look, like the guy who edits every Wikipedia article. He looks like a frog man.
You don't see his face as far as I know, but he has, because I guess he's trying to do like kind of clinical-ish illustrations, because I suppose they can't just post actual porn. So where should I put this image?
Oh, anywhere on that Discord if you have it.
Podcast
context. Yeah, there we go.
I do not have permission.
There's Tom who put the Krull guy in there with his big crazy Krull weapon. That thing is so stupid. It's a boomerang that he throws out that comes back.
You catch it properly.
It's so much fun, Krull. The stuff with the sand and the spider, that's so good.
Courtney,
I can ban for a while, kudos.
Can you?
I'm the Courtney of this podcast, I should say.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't have permission for the
I'll
channel.
post it in Jen.
Okay, sure.
Hi, also Courtney. By the way, oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh,
okay. So
it's
Kudos
now on
has,
screen because I can share this.
Kudos has sent us a demonstration of.
It's not wrong.
It's the Japanese art. I believe it's called bukake.
And I think this is Goku. This is different.
Yeah, it's Gokunara.
Oh, this is Gokunara.
This is Gokunara. Yeah.
Oh, my mistake. Yeah, I'll describe the image for everyone. It's
not wrong.
It's an Asian woman with a tube in her hands, and she's drinking what looks to be cream. And it just says beneath the photo, an artist's impression of a woman drinking semen.
That's a lot of it, by the way. That's a lot. That's voluminous. That's a voluminous amount.
That is like one shot from Andre the Giant.
You need to explain the one under it.
That's snowballing.
That is illustration of snowballing.
We've all seen Clerks in this Discord.
It's like. Did I ever tell you why, like the whole stretchy gummy thing makes me gag?
Okay, so
gross.
This guy's named Seedfeeder, which is a great name. So he's the illustrator who's done such classic works as the image on Wikipedia for anal sex, cum shut, doggy style, fellatio, fraught,
with the name
mammary
like
intercourse.
Wow. It says he's got 48 depictions of various sex acts. Okay, great. Oh, there's pegging. Everybody knows pegging. The kids are doing pegging now. They're way into pegging.
That's like the new hot trend.
I can't show a majority of this.
All right,
she's
really happy.
She's crying because she's very happy about.
I don't think she's
having
as
a
happy
great
as the
time.
man. The man looks much happier, Jen.
There's
also
some
for some reason, her complexion and her ears make me think she's a Romulan.
Bro.
What the fuck?
So this is how me.
Those are tears of joy.
You know, on Romulus, that's how they say hello.
Yeah, Seedfeeder retired in June 2012. So.
Well, obviously, I mean, once you do 48 bangers like this,
48
illustrations that are just, there's art and then there's art.
It's funny how they clearly need it. They're like, we need an image to represent this sexual act, but we can't just post like an actual real photo of someone fucking.
Why
maybe
wouldn't they do
like,
stick men? Why wouldn't they do stick figures? Do they need to draw a Romulan woman?
Too vague.
Because these are clearly like traced, so I don't know. How that might. Anyway,
it's got a certain finesse to it. The shadowing is fantastic.
My friend Sean used to prank his mum all the time by sitting.
Is like a prostitute, like approaching a John in a car.
Oh yeah. My friend Sean used to prank his mum all the time by posting like setting weird shit as her desktop background. I think once he set the one for facial as a background.
Oh god!
And then he always Snapchats us like being really mad at him, and then he like turns the camera to see what she's reacting to, and it's just the illustration.
It's so funny to
illustration for facial.
Such a
that's like the big trend there for like early YouTube. One of the big trends was the 2 girls 1 cup reaction.
Oh yeah,
everybody had to show their reaction, or they filmed their mother's reaction. Everybody had to see it.
I could never I don't know. I couldn't bring myself to do something like that. Like, to my parents, I'd feel too awkward. Like,
why would you want to sit there and watch like the most degenerate fucking porn, like with your parents in the room?
Hey,
even
Grandma,
for a meme.
What is the conversation after
God,
that?
it was just a meme, bro. Like that.
Just a meme, bro.
Yeah,
that would be.
Right.
Grandma, I know you're not going to believe this, but they're doing the wildest shit online. You got to see this. I once got prank kudos. A guy ran up to me, so excited. He was thrilled. Hey, man, Charles, you got to see this, man. You ain't going to believe this. Holds his phone out and hands it to me and hits play on a video. Now, it's pure. Yeah. It's just like a white screen, and I stare at it. And then I see something that looks like a Snickers bar go by very quickly, and I hear a splash. And I realize that this person has done the funniest prank anyone will ever do to me. He's gotten me to watch a video of him pooping. I laugh.
I love how's the logistics of that as well?
He caught me at just the right time. Like I was tired, and I was like, all right, I'll take a look. Show me what you got here. Because people show me stuff. Like, it's fine. I'll look. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
And it was a video of him pooping. And I just handed him the phone back. I tried very hard to no-sell it. And was like, buddy, you have just done the funniest prank on me that anyone will ever do. This is the funniest thing I'm ever going to see. You have completely broken this. Like, I can never trust anyone who wants to go, hey, man, take a look at this. You ain't going to believe. I can never. That's gone.
Well, back in the day, the thing people would show was the fucking like Russian like beheading videos and shit.
Oh,
they got shared around.
Yeah, there was a guy I worked with that was
I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
Take a look at this. It'd be like guys getting stabbed with screwdrivers and shit.
Yeah, it was weird how that shit kind of. It's always funny that going back to the parents reacting thing. It's funny when you see those videos, but like the parents are super like cool with it. Like there's this video of this dad reacting to all the Mortal Kombat fatalities, and you'd think like an old person like that might be like, "Oh, this is gross," but he's just like, like he's laughing at it. He thinks it's hilarious.
Kombat's fun. Kudos. There's one in Mortal Kombat 3 where the robot guy starts shooting out bombs all like out of his ass and his chest and everywhere, and then it cuts to the planet Earth and the world blows up. Like that is
the Earth shakes and then boom.
Yeah,
Cyrex.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I don't care if you're a 55-year-old man that's never looked at video games that thinks it's for lack of it, like just the lamest thing in the world. Show somebody that who has watched who most dudes are into like Chuck Norris movies and that sort of thing. So you see a video game where you fight one-on-one and you not only kill your opponent, blow up the world.
Yeah,
that's
so you
funny.
kind of lost as well. Yeah, have you guys heard about how when they were making the newest Mortal Kombat game, how like fucked up a lot of the staff got because they were like, because it's so realistic these days, they were having to look at videos of like fucking cows getting like ripped apart and like realistic, like real. They had to look up
nothing.
See, here's
to look
the
up
thing
real
about
gore
that.
images for reference.
I feel like we can, you can approximate a lot of things, and it's more fun to have fun with that sort of thing. Like there's a special makeup effects guy who did most of like the best gore effects in the 70s and 80s. Tom Savini, yeah. He was an actual Vietnam vet who had he was a photographer, so he would go in as a combat photographer and he would photograph battles, and so he saw some shit. Yeah. And So when he comes back to America, he gets back to doing special effects. And his effects always looked a little different from everybody else's.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to interject. Since we posted all this shit in general, we have one of our people who are in the Discord, so please join our Discord. Harvey the Cat has just posted, and his Kudos has posted all the photos that we previously talked about.
Just say nothing because it's so much better out of context.
I'm not going to.
We say nothing much better out of context. Out of context. I can't even.
Speaking of dyslexia and hijacking a conversation like Charles Khan, hey, Mr. Kudos. Dearest friend, let's talk about the time that we met at Vidcon.
Oh, you guys met somewhere.
Hold on. Let's go. Let me go up only one Inception level first before we get back to the actual topic. I was really interested with the talk about Mortal Kombat gore things because that was a real fear for me. I was a 3D artist before YouTube, and I was genuinely worried that I would be working in a studio and then that studio gets a job doing stuff for a horror movie or something like Mortal Kombat, and now I have to look up pictures of real gore and model them and shit because that is kind of what you have to do.
Why couldn't you just artistically approximate it? Why would you want to be we have to look at crime scene photos? We need to see. It's not enough that we just heard about it. We got to go look at the Tate LaBianca murders. We need to see it.
I mean, pretty much every piece of art you do, it's good to work from reference because you think you know what something looks like. I'm sure everyone can be like, oh, I know how to draw a person or I know how to draw a flower. I don't know, but then when you actually look up the specific thing, you're like, oh, my brain was completely off. The images in your head are never.
There's a fella here in America who did comic art for a long time. He was a ad guy, Neil Adams. He did. He always talked about using rotoscope, where he would always want to have, when he did Muhammad Ali versus Superman. He had photos of certain actors he wanted to look to be as Superman posing, and then he had the Muhammad Ali photos to pose with Superman.
Yeah.
So that was his thing. That was back in the mid 70s, early 80s.
I mean, some artists are able to really just pull, really good art out of their ass, but I would argue most people at least just glance at reference just to get the general feel. And especially when you're working on something like the new Mortal Kombat games, which have really realistic facial animation and stuff, the bar is really high now, so you can't get away with just add some red jibs in there, that'll work. It's you have to actually make it look like real.
See, I feel if I'm in the writer's room for Mortal Kombat, the thing I would say is we need to make this as hilarious as possible to anyone who sees it. And there's got to be somebody in those rooms who gets it, because they've done some gnarly shit. There's one, I think it was called The Wishbone, where it was Noob Saibot and the robot that he possessed, because Mortal Kombat's fun, has a fun storyline. Yeah. So the ghost and the robot were together, and they sort of shoot out of each other. And they grab somebody, and then they wishbone the person, pulling them apart. It's that's particularly funny to me because I'm a real weird sicko.
I think Triborg did something. I think it's Triborg. Triborg is in the modern one.
Oh,
that's all three of them. Yeah, that's Cyrax. All the motherfuckers put into one robot.
See, Tom, at some point in the last 10 years, I officially became old, and so Mortal Kombat merged with all the other Mortal Kombats, and so now I have no idea what is what and what I've done and what's came before.
And what podcast I'm on, and who the guest is,
what
and
day
how
of the
I
week
met
it
Tom.
is, who I am.
Who's the real?
So anyway, I met Tom at VidCon 2019.
2019.
Okay,
which
was
9 minutes ago.
The before times.
Exactly, a simpler world. Yeah, I was. So I was in a co-working space with the lovely folks at Changes Studios, who now help manage my channel. So funny how these things go. Shout out to those guys. It was it's kind of I was in this really cool co-working space, which I really miss. But they used to host events all the time there, and stuff to improve your work and this and that. And one time they did one on improving your YouTube comedy. If you got a comedy YouTube channel, how you can improve that. And it was open to the public as well. But that was hosted at the co-working space. And yeah, so I got talking to the guys there, and then they're like, yeah, we literally work in this office. And I was like, oh shit. I'd made my YouTube channel a week before. So it was like, so I'd post my first video a week before. So then all of a sudden there'd be in this like YouTube comedy workshop, and these guys who work with Internet Historian and all these other, big YouTubers and do all this shit. I was like, God damn. So I became good friends with those guys. And then they were hosting a booth at VidCon 2019, Australian VidCon, I should say, not the
exactly,
not the I don't know, I can't say the American one's any better, but it's not a very big one here. Like it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's 2 rooms.
Yeah, it's kind of a middle of the beast kind of thing. It's where it's like it's not too small, but it's not too big.
So kind of what would you say? Like 10,000 people, 5,000 people?
I'd say like 30. I'd say 30 in total,
but like spread over like 3 days.
Yeah,
but like
spread over 3 days.
So there's 2 rooms. There was like the creator area and just like the fan area. And the fan area was the bigger one, and that's where they had like all of the booths for creators, and that's where they did like the panels, and like some creators had like merch areas set up or like meet and greets, all that sort of shit. And I'd say most of the people there were staring very young. They were staring young in both zones, but that was like you were getting like 7-year-old kids there, who really liked watching.
See, that was the impression that fellas gave me of VidCon in America. They called it KidCon very dismissively.
Yeah, I will say the
that.
previous year, because I was working press the previous year at the other VidCon,
and
it was exclusively kids based, where it was this giant hall, not a lot of space used. It was pretty much all meet and greets for a lot of kid YouTubers, or YouTubers that are kid oriented. But
I would be terrified, like to think that children are like, oh yeah, real weird sickos. I'm 5 years old. That's what I'm into.
It was like the most like
Wang is like 7-year-old kids like, this is what I do all day. I watch gore videos, and then I'll go watch Wang talk about stuff from 20 years ago.
Speaking of which, like, I just want to shift a little bit to Kudos has this wonderful way of whenever he's sponsored, he'll do an ad for his sponsor, but he does it in literally like the best, the cutest, and just the most fun way that you've ever seen anyone do ads. And it's like, you're excited to actually watch the ad because of how creative you are with these ads. It's
knows how to put over a product.
It's more than that. It's more than that. Like, it's enjoyable to watch. Like, I'm not even necessarily like sold on the product. I'm just like so involved in how he's presenting it that I'm just so fucking down for it. Like, it's like
I'm glad you say that, because it's like that's definitely the vibe I'm going for. I'm trying to ride the coattails of Historian, because he's definitely got the best ad reads in the game, I reckon. But I don't know, ads are fun because it's a really good writing exercise, because you've got very strict parameters you have to work within, because A, you have to hit all the talking points they want, and B, you can't be too risque with it. But so it's
right in
kind
that
of
line.
It's fun to see what you can get away with, like fucking PU Blover or whatever. Like it's fun.
Still love that one.
It's interesting trying to subvert like people's expectations of an ad, and then at the same time like seeing if you can pull one over on the advertiser.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty fun. Or
they're
the sponsor,
probably
rather.
loving it though. Like,
no, that's the thing. Yeah, like I wouldn't want to work with someone who is like, no, just read the fucking script, because I have heard from people that I think it probably, maybe not so much the brand, but the marketing company that the brand hires. Some of them are very boring and just like, no, just please read the talking points. Don't go too silly. I have heard horror stories of that where like people have gone above and beyond and like written like a full rap song to advertise the product, and then they've turned around and been like, nah, just please read the talking points. Don't do this. So, but I haven't had. Thankfully, every ad's they've loved it. So that's been
that last one. I should say. At the moment, the latest video people can be watching is the D&D Many Scandals episode.
D&D's
but
nuts.
the one previous to that, the Manscaped one with PU Blover featuring myself and
so
Goplex.
good.
Yes.
That was great. I love it. Love that one so much.
Yeah, that was really good. And Manscaped, genuinely good product. Although I probably shouldn't say that because they're not paying me to say this here.
No,
I do
now they're
like
trash. No.
No.
My favorite
strong
one,
enough for a man, yet not strong enough for a woman.
My
Jen?
favorite one was the it's like the James Bond one.
Oh, the PA one we did, me and Dove. Yeah.
It's literally like my favorite one of all because it's just like the way that like that whole thing, and it's like that was my favorite one.
Yeah, no, shout out to my friend Ryan because he's one of my best friends from high school. And he's such a funny dude. So
Ryan,
we're just like,
I love Ryan. He's the best.
Oh no, different Ryan, not the one you know. Who's also very funny.
You don't know him, Tom. So shush.
Yeah, Ryan.
I was going to say
both my Ryans are very funny. In fact, that Ryan did the design for my merch, so I've got both Ryans on my channel working in some capacity. But no, my other friend Ryan, we're just up on Discord and just shoot the shit and come up with like these really stupid, like elaborate scripts. So he helped write the Manscaped.
That's the best way to write it.
Yeah,
is to have somebody there like, hey, what if we did this?
Room.
What if we did this? What if we had the craziest, stupidest thing, and then it helps to have somebody to bounce off of that way. Like that's
what's the saying? You're a sum of the people you spend your time with. I feel it's the same with your scripts and everything. Like if you get funny people to help you write a script, your script will be funny.
Well,
usually
it's not just that. Like you have a good delivery. It doesn't matter sometimes how well something and how funny something is on paper. If it's not delivered correctly, then it's just not gonna hit. And the fact of the matter is that Kudos knows how to deliver it because you don't know what's coming. Like the way that he sometimes won't even change the tone of his voice, and it's not in a deadpan way. It's just like the way he delivers it, where you just don't fucking see it coming, and then it just smacks you, and it's the most funniest shit ever.
He's good at the misdirect.
Not even so much the misdirect. It's really hard to just explain. It's not that he's leading you in one direction where you don't know what's coming. It's just kind of like the way that he transitions is just smooth enough to the point where he's not throwing you for a loop and then punching you with it. It's like you just keep getting let out in the same direction, and then something will come from the same direction, but you still didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds really fucking weird.
Kudos
it's just how I feel about it.
Kudos will take you on the journey. He'll get you where you want to go.
The hero's journey.
And you don't even know you want to go there.
But yeah, actually, speaking of journeys, I will hijacking like Charles Khan. My name's Tom.
Okay, but here's one thing that I don't know if you were going to bring this up. The journey was at the end of last year. You probably had about where were you at sub-wise?
So before November, because that was when shit slapped. I was on like 9,000 subs, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then November,
algorithm went burr.
And now it's famous ManyKudos.
Yeah.
I got
known YouTuber ManyKudos.
I think I knew James when he was like sub 1,000.
I was on
we met at Vidcon. Yeah.
Yeah, so to finish the story from before, me and Tom were both working at the Changer booth in the creator area of VidCon 2019. And we were just shooting it. It was the space that they'd set up in collaboration with VidCon to be like, it's a area in the creator zone where people can film content. Like there's like couches and lights and good, it's a good recording space.
I love
essentially.
that they called it the creator zone. That's like old person who thinks it's going to be cool, but they're like
pretty much
like putting the word
the creator
zone in capitalized extreme. But it's extreme Kool-Aid, so it's not.
It really
not
does
cool.
That kind of has that 2000s like replace every letter with X and Z to make it appeal to the youth type.
Extreme.
The kids love X's; they'll love it. Cigar.
Because it was actually a whole rotation of YouTubers who were actually in the booth helping us at the time. There was the team Hyde Goons who are
very funny.
Are they?
They're
not
from Brisbane.
Melbourne. So
yeah, they're from Brisbane. Yeah.
But there was Kudos, myself, a team of two girls who I only refer to now as the bucket hats, as they wore bucket hats and did between Jack and shit. And most of the time, They were fine, but I had to deal with the brunt of them. But, we ended up having to look after people's kids while they fucked off. I'm just like, you just left your kid here with a literal YouTuber. I'm just saying, have you heard of Discord?
No.
But no, he ended up literally smashing around and drawing because essentially the booth was like, oh, come do creative stuff. So the kid just sat there drawing shit while the father fucked off. I was like, you know. Have somebody here.
Some people really did just use it as a babysitting space. It was kind of like, come on, man, this is for people to record. And it's funny too because was it 3 days or 2 days? I think it was 3 days.
It was 3 days. It's 3 days.
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The first 2 days, I think I was doing the first day and the third day. And the first day, no one wanted to use the space because everyone was too awkward. And then by the third day, everyone had given up and all these. It was mostly teenagers, I'd say. Just tons of kids recording TikTok dances and shit. And by the third day, they had made friends and they were using the space all the time. So that was cool because I felt like the first day we were trying to come on, guys, get in here, trying to rope people in.
Because you got to spin a wheel. You got to spin a wheel and do a challenge to enter in a competition to win some stuff.
Oh,
that was the whole gimmick. And I think on the second day, I was standing there, and then the Try Guys threw magnets at me. So that sounds like an interesting statement. But so the Try Guys had just done a presentation, and the room itself functioned as a back room, so people could go to the main stage and not deal with the general public. So I was staying over by the bins, and the Try Guys came out and just threw these tiny magnets at me, and I was like, okay. Thanks. I'm just sitting there. I was like, the fuck? So how am I going to deal with this? And
the Try Guys tried to kill an Australian.
Exactly. And then we had Phil Dog come past, the infamous Phil Dog.
Legendary Phil Dogs. Yeah, he came and recorded for a wee while he had his own shirt made with his channel name on it, which I thought was a bit of a flex.
That's an ultimate flex.
But it was a cool experience. Obviously hanging with you was really fun, and but I don't know if I'm gagging to go to Vidcon again. It seems like most of the creators I know, our age anyway, they just get drunk near Vidcon. They don't actually go to it because you just get swarmed.
Yeah, because we had the Instagram lounge in our joint, but another VidCon event happened recently stateside. So, exactly. How did that go? If you want to talk about that, I didn't check with you. If you want to talk about it.
Joe Dingles was there.
It was a lot of fun.
The faux VidCon. Yeah. But
there were some fun parties. We all went and got to see Wang do his second job.
Yeah.
See him do his. Yeah, we saw him at work. I mean, and that was cool shit.
In a suit and tie.
A lot of the parties, met a lot of nice people. It was a good time.
Did it get you excited for when VidCon's actually back? And
exactly. Well, you're going to go over there.
If we literally didn't go to a single, VidCon TM function, I'd be totally fine with that because we didn't need that. Actually, because it's a few of the people they were staying out in West Hollywood, and everybody else was staying in Anaheim, and I'm just local-ish, so it's I don't have to really stay anywhere. But it's there was we were probably more functions out in LA more than there was in actual Anaheim. People were hanging out and going and eating and in Anaheim during the day, and it was cool. And then at night it was just partying West Hollywood. And then there was Wang show the next night, and then the last night Wang threw a party and it was in LA and everybody was there, and it was a blast.
That's awesome.
And there was no drama. There was no drama because there's people there. And it's this person has beef with this person, and none of that went down. Everybody was just chill and had a good time. And it was a lot of fun. So
I bet you there was drama. I guarantee there's drama. Human beings always had drama.
We would have heard their drama.
There was absolutely no drama at the parties, at nothing. It was just.
Well,
tell me there was no beef, no hookups.
No,
all these commentary guys are
I could say there was no beef. I could say there was no beef. Nobody fought.
But that's
I can't
great.
Say anything about a lot of other things.
Dearest Jen, you've given me the perfect one. You've given me the perfect out.
You're
beef,
saying Oreo
the Beef Boys.
The Beef Boys. Let's go to the Beef Boys. These are the boys.
Who the fuck is that? That sounds stupid.
You are the first guest of Beef Sember. First guest
Beef Miss in December.
Wait, hold on.
Beef Sember is awful.
whatever. Merry Beefmas. I didn't know what you're stealing or I'm stealing. So, like, how's been the journey with the Beef Boys, matey? Like, how long ago did it start?
It's great question. I think it was June, March, or June.
Was that the pre-world or old world?
Teaser episode was 7th of April this year. So from the start of the beef.
Man, that's a long fucking time, huh? We haven't missed a single upload, a single week's upload. That feels
That'd
good.
That'd be nice if that happened to us. Well, actually, we should actually say I was a part of the because me and Kudos ended up playing with some friends on Division 2, and we had I think at the same time you were starting the podcast, you had thought of the name Beef Boys, so we were both the Beef Boys in Division, and now we're the Mince Men. We're the Mince Men now. That's the gaming circle.
Yeah, because we had a lot of ideas for like names for the podcast. Actually, I think the first episode is literally us trying to figure out a name. Beef Boys was one we just had for a while, and it's, I don't know, it's a funny name. It's
I just like putting buddies on everything. They should have been the Beef Buddies.
That's damn it, that's good too. But well, anyway,
I like the boys,
like
the boys.
Boys. It's funny because some people think it means like beef is in drama, like we're like stirring up shit with people, but like it really is.
It's funny because I literally never got that for 1 second with you guys. It's like I see you and I see Doplex and I see the Miller Boys, and I'm sitting there going, it means beef. It's like Taco Bell. That's exactly what
pretty
it is.
much.
They like hamburger.
We did have some, ironically, we did have some very mild beef for like 2 seconds with a podcast of a similar name. And one of the things they called us out for is that they were like, fuck it. That name was pretty much Beef Boys as well. And they were like, we mean beef as in food. These guys mean beef as in drama. And I was like, we really don't. we didn't, honestly, didn't think about it that hard. We thought it just sounded cool. It was just funny that they were like, they thought that
whole
we were,
micro drama was fantastic. That still makes me smile all the time.
We cut a lot of stuff about that. We went in before burying the hatchet. It was pretty funny.
So from the start in April to now, how do you feel about the Beef Boys journey so far? It's certainly been an adventure. It's like the highlight of my week is recording with those guys. Absolutely.
And the growth has been like solid, steady. It's sort of hard to know other podcasts because, you know, like I've got my own metrics from my channel, but it's like I've never really heard or seen a podcast blow up in the same way a YouTube channel does, because asking someone to sit down and watch an hour-long anything is going to be difficult. It seems even like big podcasts hosted by big YouTubers, it's like a very gradual thing over time.
Well, it's such a different thing too.
Yeah, so it's sort of like it's hard to know like, are we doing great? Are we doing bad? I mean, ultimately, I don't care. I'm just having fun, and I think we all are. Obviously, growth is like the goal, but. Yeah, it's. I don't think you're gonna have that moment like I did last November, where like all of a sudden the algorithms like just fucking throw it at everyone. I really don't know how to like how anyone would grow a podcast in like 2021.
Maybe we'll go to Podcast Con.
Yeah, PodCon. That'll be somehow more degenerate than VidCon.
I imagine PodCon is just a lot of people sitting around talking.
PodCon would be so fucking insufferable. Please kill me.
Yeah.
Would you be on my podcast? Be on my podcast.
Isn't it weird that the name podcast like came from iPod and no one has an iPod anymore?
Yeah.
But we just have
name. I thought I was literally thinking about that recently, where I was just like, like why have we not like nobody's like bothered to change that? Like we're just like
the alternates the Wikipedia article.
This.
The alternate on the Wikipedia article is Netcast, and no one's going to do that.
No,
it's
does Apple own the rights?
It sounds like Netgear. Like
exactly. It's like because we went from pods being like, oh, it's an audio version, and now most of the podcasts are like visual as well.
You might as well call it like Internet Explorer fucking cast at that point. Like
shitty name. Some 2000s, 90s sounding shit. Yeah, call it eCast. Go on, take it real bad.
I like that. That's good.
Does Apple own the rights to podcast? Because I
think it might be nebulous.
There was some like so about when was those lawsuits? That was like 10 years ago. There was some what they call patent trolls. Like some company bought the patents, and they believe that they own the concept of podcasting, and so they were suing rather than sue Apple. They were suing individual podcasts, like all the successful podcasts.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous lawsuit. I'm sure some YouTuber somewhere has done a video about it.
I have it here. So there's 3 lawsuits in regards to podcasts. There's a trademark application, the Apple trademark protections, and there's a personal audio lawsuits. They went after
Corolla, right?
Yeah, Corolla and How Stuff Works.
Yeah, them. Sure. Oh man, the guy that used to be on Tech TV, the white-haired guy, the one that had explicit emails that he pulled up on his watch when he was showing off the Apple Watch, and it was like, whoa, whoops, sorry about that, folks.
Let me see some delicious food.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh,
yeah,
fuck that.
That was a very funny clip.
Sure. But yes, at the moment, 35 episodes of the Beef Boys are up. Do you have do you have a personal favorite moment?
Let me just say, there's like a lot of things that like aren't fucking entertaining. There's a lot of podcasts that are just fucking boring, but like, you know, we could honestly say here at Sickos, like, if you go and you watch Beef, like, we're not going to hate you because it's actually really, really great. But anyway, sorry, Tom, I hijacked your question.
Don't change that dial.
I will say, the James Miller fucking a tomato was
beautiful.
a nonstop roller coaster of a story. He destroyed Tomato Town. And
he blew up Tomato Town. Yeah,
wiped out Tomato Town.
He just wiped out Tomato Town.
He literally did wipe out Tomato Town. Yeah, that's honestly probably that's even the funniest moment we've had on while recording for me anyway. Like was in tears laughing at that. But I mean, there's been so many super funny bits. I don't know. I love them all individually. Yeah, it's hard to know. Like the
Drumsy coming out the fursuit, the Drumsy fursuit one, and seeing your
Drumsy was really fun.
Reaction to that.
Peach was really fun.
Peach was fantastic.
Yeah, no, they're like my kids. I love them all, mostly because I can't remember any of them. Because once I record something and like it gets flushed out of my brain and into the shower.
Goodbye, children. Goodbye.
On the podcast day, I end up messaging on the day and just like I'm listening to the podcast and I just message you like, oh, that thing. Oh, that's what you guys were talking about. That's how you get most of the information back to you.
Yeah, that's how I remember what we're on, because Tom will message me about it, but just out of context with no clues, and I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle.
It's weird how, you know, somebody listening to the podcast is like, oh man, I'm going to hang on to everything that this guy said. Kudos just said the funniest thing, and then, you know, like they bring it back up to you and it's like, well, that was 6 months ago.
Exactly.
That was a conversation I had one afternoon 6 months ago.
Yeah, can you remember any conversations you've had 6 months ago? Like I know we record this, so it's like it's a little bit
like,
different.
You kind of feel like it's like that whole like annoying fanboy meme. Like if somebody's like, so what exactly were you thinking on episode 17?
Yeah, it's like
around the 34-minute mark. What were you thinking around that time? Like, I don't fucking remember anything.
I can tell you some stories about some Star Trek fans and how crazy those people go. And I like Star Trek. I like Star Trek. I can watch some Star Trek, but I ain't living for Star Trek.
Yeah, but that's like the comic book nerd in Simpsons was pretty much based on that whole Star Trek nerd concept of like people in the 90s who would just sit on chat boards and
kudos. It goes farther than that. There are people that wear those costumes, like the outfit, what do they call that? The crew uniform. They wear that shit 24 hours a day. Like just wear it all the time. There was a woman during the O.J. Simpsons trial that wore hers to be part of the jury thing.
And that name and that woman was Jen Dojingles.
Yes,
Jingle Dingles.
But speaking of Jingle Jingles, I heard from actually I was playing with Miller Boy James about some Halo last night, and you're working on the Christmas set. So I want the
yours.
Oh,
I am. Once we hang up this podcast. I was sure where to take that. Once we hang up from here, I'm going to build the Christmas set with the Beef Dilla Beef Boys. So we're making just a Christmas version of our current set for Beefmas. Because as you all know, we have a full 3D set. And
I love it. Actually, we should say Kudos is the reason why, if you're watching the video version, that's the background from his Cyberpunk video. Yes, the background that we're using at the moment is that background was helped
Kudos
immensely
does
by
really good work with that sort of stuff. Is that would that be like the After Effects, or what are you playing with?
That's all. The models are done in Maya, and it's all rendered in Unreal Engine using Quixel text files.
Unreal, man, got it.
Because you and Sabrina put together the first set, correct?
Yeah, so she did the interior and I did the exterior. So this one, I'm taking over the interior for the Christmas set because we don't want to keep having to lump stuff on Sabrina.
Yeah.
The
unsung hero.
Shut up. Yeah,
absolutely.
Freaking for real.
No, actually, she's an absolute queen. But she's passed me the assets, so I'm just gonna slap some shit together, and that'll be the Beefmas set. And then we're doing Beefmas, and then we're breaking for next year. We're not recording in January because I don't want to.
You know what?
Fair enough.
Well deserved. You guys were. I mean, it's like it's so visually pleasing and stunning. Like now, like it really is. Like the old. Like come on, who doesn't love like vintage Taco Bell? Like.
Exactly.
Well, technically, because I've never been to one. That's the
liminal space that is the most wanted, and it's them, and it's beautiful, and it's hilarious, and you guys kind of deserve to kind of like take like a breather for like a while, you know.
I think we want to do like a season 2 type beat where like each season is set in like a different. It's always set in the Taco Bell, but the Taco Bell's in like a different locale each time.
So like a theme Taco Bell, like they used to do with McDonald's?
Kind of, yeah, but we want to have like because we have the establishing shot at the start of the episode, and it's currently in like this, middle of nowhere and like Nevada type beat. But we want to do the next one maybe like an island, like it's just on a deserted tropical island.
How about underwater? Would you do an underwater Taco Bell?
Yeah, like you could do an underwater, do one in space.
Oh, I like.
Just stuff like that where it's like, I'll dress up as Aquaman for every podcast, and James can be a turtle. But we want to. I guess we want to have it where it's like each season is its own. It is distinguished in that way, so you'll be like, the island. I really like the island season of Beef Boys, but they fell off around the space one. But then it got good again, and
I like it.
It's the pineapple summer. It's a pineapple summer, like comic. So internet commentary etiquette.
Everybody can fight about it on the subreddit.
Exactly.
Like that was not the best era.
When they were
not the best era. That was the shittiest era. And I'll tell you why. Because that's when Kudos like got up his own ass and then like he punched Doplex's girlfriend in the face, and like the whole like Game Grumps lore is gonna fucking go off, and it's gonna be wonderful.
Beef.
And then Gamer from Mars is going to make lies, drinking, and abuse video, and it's gonna be beautiful.
When the Beef Boys were in
I can't wait for that arc, dude. I'm serious.
And Kudos took the blood test and put the hot needle to it, and Doplex turned out to be the thing. That was such a great moment.
That's a great idea, because we were thinking of doing it like one set in Antarctica, and then the idea of doing that for like the Halloween episode is a really fun idea.
Just have a flamethrower,
Doplex on fire.
Exactly. Yeah. But I will say, people listening to this, I'm going to reveal something to people now.
What the fuck?
On screen right now is a fake title. That is a fake title because I want to talk in secret, because the Ennui Awards are happening right now. Matthew Winter has just posted in his own Discord the 2021 Ennui nominations.
Matthew Winter, famed pedophile.
Famed staff kisser.
Not framed.
Can I tell him, Tom? Can I tell him
Go
what
ahead,
we should do? Okay, so Kudos, check it out. This is what they're doing. This is what the Ennui, and I told him, by the way, like, it's the Ennui Awards or something, but I said it's like the missed opportunity to not call them the wee-wees. Like,
how about we have the
lead into it?
How could you fucking miss that? But you're going to vote for what you're going to vote for.
Exactly. It is an open vote, but I will
it's
say
an open vote, so we can spam this shit because one of the categories is worst podcast. Tell me it would not be fucking beautiful if we voted for Ennui Podcast and Ennui got the Ennui fucking award for worst podcast.
I still think, what if we took and we just got everybody that we could, got them to vote for Joe Rogan, and then sent the award,
we gotta do
a physical prop, saying they were the worst podcast to Joe Rogan Studio.
No.
No. I want
to
break Matthew. I want to break Matthew.
Here's the thing. Now, Matthew thrives off the idea of being like the Michael Scott character. So I feel like, in a sense, he almost wants you to vote for Ennui. He even kind of mentioned it in the thing.
You know what? I didn't even think of that.
Even in the description, if you click through it says, don't vote for Ennui.
He's literally the biggest glutton for pain, but it's like, but he definitely like it's his secret little sick fetish.
Yeah,
you know how like Hitler had like a scat fetish. Like this whole self-deprecation fetish is what grade. Matthew gets off to.
So if that's why I think it's funnier if you give him no content. Like vote for some piece of shit podcast with like 6 viewers that like no one knows about. Like that's the worst podcast. And then he'd open on the day hoping to be able to make an epic TikTok of him reacting to it with a frowny face. And instead it's like the fucking anime boys podcast that no one's ever heard of. And then it's like
how else are you gonna find out about Tenchi Muyo if you don't listen to the anime boys?
Yeah, it's just like the shittiest piece of shit that no one fucking cares about.
Like,
he just has zero material to go off.
Tenchi.
I think that would be the funniest if we set every answer up to be something that Matt knows nothing about, so he has zero, like nothing to riff off and no content. That would be a lot funnier to me.
That's good.
We'll create some chaos, but there's always
pick
chaos.
Everyone go to the Ennui nominations and either just put burger in every answer or vote for the most obscure, useless piece of media that no one's ever heard of and that isn't even that good. And then
Krull.
Exactly.
What is the point? What is the point of doing this when nobody's listening?
Okay. Exactly. But
No. I'm not saying about us. I'm saying about him. Like,
absolutely.
No. I'm not even ripping on us.
Shade. That's not nice.
I self-attacked that.
It's very funny though. All he needs is to get Burger Ennui, and then like his viewership will triple to 6
We're doing this. Burger Ennui.
We'll get it happening. But you know what's also happening? Getting your ass over to youtube.com/beefboys. That's right.
Fuck?
No Beef Boys podcast. It is youtube.com/beefboys. Subscribe over there. Get your ass over there. That is some of the funny. Like because I'm in Australia, every Thursday I get up and I listen to that. That's the first thing I listen to in the morning, and it's one of the goddamn funniest things. It's Andrew Miller, it's James Miller, it is Mr. Kudos here, and it's Doplex. All organized by the wonderful Courtney. Shout out to
Is somebody being murdered near you, Tom? Holy fucking shit! Lights and sirens.
You know what?
Someone's getting glassed on the street.
Maybe I should have shut the door. And
there come the burger police.
Burger place.
Dude, he's coming. Oh my god, they've been listening. They're like the CIA right now.
The
podcast police are on their way.
Exactly. They finally found all the people that Matthew Winter has kissed.
You've been saying bad things about it, Tom.
Exactly. That's my favorite thing.
You've been saying a lot of bad things about Dragnet Cast.
Calling Matthew Winter a pedophile is easy.
Calling all cars.
But calling him a staff kisser is far more funnier because it's fucking true.
It threatens his livelihood, which also is a lot funnier.
It does.
If the McDonald's cast ever hears about this, he'll get fired.
Ask him how many employees he's hit on.
Exactly. You can find one of my dearest friends in this bloody world who makes the most fantastic content at youtube.com/ManyKudos. Don't go to Ennui. You can look at the TikToks that he puts out of the video podcast of the Ennui one. That's the funnier parts because I could not.
Don't give Ennui any views.
Go to Ennui.com and report him.
Oh God!
Don't even hate watch Ennui because that gives him views. Don't fucking do that. No hate watching.
You guys are brutal. Imagine how you feel about somebody you don't like.
That's a Matthew Winter moment, Charles.
Click on his video and then click off after 10 seconds to ruin his retention so YouTube doesn't recommend it to anyone.
He's literally like the bad luck Burger Brian of YouTube.
Get bad luck Burger Brian on Ennui. I'm just gonna say, I really gutted. We crashed his podcast because I went on his podcast a couple months ago, and all the Beef Boys were like listening live, and they all hopped in, and it was really genuinely funny. It was like half an hour of just like, it was like an impromptu Beef Boys episode starring Matthew Winter, and there was some really like Matthew had some funny stories. Everyone some good yarns, but Matthew fucked up the recording and lost all of it. So. What a goal. He lost gold.
If you're going to be a guest on Ennui, you have to use a software that if you go longer than 50 minutes, you have to pay for a subscription for.
Oh my God. Yes.
That's Riverside, motherfucker, isn't it?
It's literally the shiestiest piece of shit move I've ever seen in my life. I said, what? And you know what? And it's like, I didn't buy it, but I just downloaded so we could do like the hurry up and do the 50 minutes for free. And then the motherfucker's like, well, I have to go to work. We're going to have to cancel for today. I was like, man, fuck you. But you know what? I'm kind of glad I ain't got to do shit today, though, man.
I know. Yeah, we should reveal that. Yeah, Matthew Winter tried to get all of us on an Ennui talk or whatever it's fucking called.
Yeah,
and he fucking dipped on us, and he's like, "Hey, use this software." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
When Tom found out the software is like not free if you've used it for 50 minutes, I was like,
bruh,
you gotta be fucking kidding me, right?
That's funny.
It's a certified bro.
What kind of jabroni software is this?
It's Matthew Winter's.
Exactly.
It's the chosen and endorsed software of Matthew Winter.
Yeah,
it's the Matthew Winter of softwares. Exactly. But if you're wanting to watch a great new video, just recently dropped, I think just of today or yesterday, depending on what time you're listening to this. The D&D Many Scandals episode is just dropped. You would have watched it earlier if you had subscribed to patreon.com/ManyKudos to get early access to all the lovely videos.
I'm one of those proud Patreons.
Like me.
Exactly. What was that, Charles?
I said this sort of be a fun one. There's a lot of good scandals in D&D.
Oh, hell
it's a weirdly depressing video.
You've been working on this one for a while, though.
Yes, this one took a wee bit longer because I suck. But the scandals are really it's interesting because I try to come at these videos with like a very like lighthearted kind of thing. Like I guess when I started doing them, like stuff like the World of Warcraft and Magic ones are funny because it's just like a bunch of like autistic nerds like screeching over really dumb shit, and that to me is really funny because it's like a drama thing, but it's more like the hobby eating itself alive. Whereas I guess for this one, I definitely the stories that interested me the most were during the 70s and 80s when D&D was first introduced, where it was caught up in all these controversies in the media. And just like the public in general, because people thought it was like corrupting the youth and causing them to kill themselves and shit.
It was part of the satanic.
They made a goddamn Tom Hanks movie.
So I bring that up in it. Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters is a far out game. Swords, magic, poison.
It's the first.
Real.
It was his first. It was his first leading film role, which I think was very funny.
Yes.
He's 26 years old.
And Mr. Kudos, I own it, and it does involve Tom Hanks on the top of the Twin Towers, screaming that he is a wizard.
I've got that clip in the video.
That's the best meme you could ever hope for.
Yeah, that whole movie is
so weird.
The movie sucks. But my God.
And then when you add the Twin Towers to it, it's that much better.
Yeah, the fact that he was going to fly. Imagine Tom Hanks was on top of the... Never mind. But anyway,
never forget to watch ManyKudos's new episode, D&D Many Scandals.
Well, all his scandal videos are good. Like, you know.
That's
fucking brilliant.
Exactly. The series are fun. It's good having a series because you don't have to think, which is probably No, I'm not going to name drop anyone there. But
it's always better to not have to think.
Just watch product and then wait for next product and watch that one.
Exactly. But I guess it's good because my channel, I feel like, was not directionless. Like it was all internet culture stuff, but there was definitely like, sometimes I'd be talking about video games and sometimes I'd be talking about fucking this random thing that happened online, like an historian type beat. And I guess this has like added a bit of structure and a bit of direction for me because sometimes I'd finish a video and not really know what to do next.
You can work this scandal gimmick pretty good. Like there's so many good scandals.
So many different genres, like different hobbies and fandoms.
There's a lot of material to work with. Like you can build a whole brand around the scandal gimmick.
Exactly. And it's just fun. It's just fun. Everyone likes hearing about, like, I'm not into fucking like commentary community drama, like, some fucking dipshit with 5,000 subs says the M word, like who fucking cares? But like when it's like stuff where it's like these big hobbies and scandals, there's something really interesting about, okay, what gets someone's knickers in a twist and they're really into fucking crocheting, because I guarantee there's been some crazy crocheting stories for some reason, and like even if you have nothing to do with that hobby, just hearing about like what pissed these crochet nerds off, that's funny in itself. So I feel like it's a very universal kind of interest.
I remember you telling me that was the first scandal that you talked about, is that the crochet one, and I think that's a low key banger that's going to happen very soon.
I'm sure. One day we'll have. Ideally, I'll start getting. Like once I run out of all the stuff that I know about, I'm going to start looking into things I don't know about as much and get people in to help me with that, such as wrestling, which I think I've talked to Charles and Tom about.
We've got stuff.
There's a couple of
they don't.
There's like one or two wrestling scandals.
You know what? God damn it, Kudos. We went basically almost a whole episode
without
mentioning it, and then you mention it towards the end. God damn you!
Let's change the subject.
Sorry.
Exactly, but you know what? If you're looking for information, you can always go in the field. Can I drop that information, Mr. Kudos?
No, it's on his. It's public for him.
Absolutely. So, very recent. So, in the near future, or as you're watching this, you go over to incognito mode with the lovely internet historian and check out a very newish episode, I should say.
Yes.
With Mr. Kudos,
the pinkest man here.
Exactly. So, if you're looking for Kudos, you can re-listen to this several times and not listen to the only one. Go to the Beef Boys, listen up there. Go to the ManyKudos's one. Listen up there and go to incognito mode and go and listen to all the previous ones.
My stupid New Zealand accent all day. If you just want that in your ears 24/7.
Well, here's the thing. Both you and Historian are both born and bred Kiwis.
We are. And not a lot of people know that. Like, it is public knowledge about him, but like even as a Kiwi myself, I didn't pick his accent when I first listened to it. I don't know. I'm kind of dumb like that, I think, but
No, I think you don't know the difference because you were around it for so long. Like I noticed it right off the bat because it's slightly off. It's Australian and New Zealand, and I know her historian is. I think she's definitely Australian born. Like but I can't tell because you could move over to New Zealand and have that slowly integrated to your own accent because that's the interchangeability of our countries. We have.
I'm terrified I'm getting that with the Australian accent. I don't think I am, but I feel like every now and then I say some words where I'm like.
Just watch enough Crocodile Dundee or Crocodile Hunt.
Everyone around me is fucking Crocodile Dundee, so I don't even need to watch anything.
Truth, cunt.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the fucking Yank. All right, this is like me and Curtis will go off this before we wrap this entirety up. I will say, Crocodile Dundee seems to be the only thing that like Yanks will bring up. It's either Crocodile Dundee,
Crocodile Hunter,
or I don't know, fucking
Crocodile Dundee's
80s Mel Gibson. When he still had the accent there.
Jen will always bring up that Simpsons episode of like, that
is a very funny episode. Yeah, that is a good episode and very accurate. Although I don't think people drink Foster's as much as they drink VB.
We don't drink it at all.
Listen, when he yelled at the Prime Minister.
at that time, like Foster's had kind of really become like those Australian commercials, like. It was kind of like a thing, so that's why they like inserted that into the episode.
It was Australian for beer.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody drinks it here.
So they were trying to make it
because it's in the States, right?
Ridiculous.
It's a Yank thing.
Ridiculously as stereotypical as as possible that you're gonna have like the PM naked in a fucking inner tube drinking a Foster's. Like you cannot get much more stereotypical than that. So like, that's the only reason why they like kind of threw that in there.
Do people in the States drink Foster's? Because like I don't mind.
It's trash.
Yeah,
somebody somewhere drinks Foster's.
Trash.
But it's like
it's a drink.
I like.
He has
Pabst.
an imaginary home full of buddies.
You like Head?
I like here, but I also like Pabst Blue Ribbon, and it's like I know that's kind of a shitty
Pabst
beer.
is not, but people shit on it, but it's actually
I like it.
I would rather drink Pabst than like Bud Light.
Bud Light, so I don't know. I've had Budweiser. We have that here, and that's pretty nice, I guess.
No,
Bud Light is just a lighter version of it.
Yeah.
But I would rather have Pabst than Bud Light. I like it better.
Jimbo, what do you drink when we go out? What's your standard? That is not like a Yank drink.
I drink fucking all sorts of shit. I really like spirits. I'm a big rum man. I like just a rum on the rocks with lime, like a good rum. Oh, that's a treat. Otherwise, just beer. I don't know, lager, a nice ale.
A bit of a fucking brew. Bit of a fucking house brew.
As everybody knows, I'm a non-alcoholic bastard.
Hey, same here. I'm straight edge, Captain Straight Edge.
No, literally, Charles has never drank in his life.
He hasn't even looked at them.
I found out the CM Punk the other day. I know we're wrapping up, but I got one more. Damn CM Punk the other day. He talked about taking a shot at a Harley race retirement party, and then they asked him well, you're the straight edge guy, and he took a shot of liquor. He's like, well, it's for Harley race, man. It's retirement. What are you gonna do? It's Harley race.
Yeah, so is that going to be when Jim retires? You're going to do a shot, your first ever shot.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Come on, Charles. Come on.
Well, it's Joe Dingles.
I know, but I will say we had New Year's together, and I don't drink because of not religious reasons, but personal reasons. But I also can't get drunk. I basically can't because I drink so much fucking soda that my liver is just always fucking stretched out. It gets hard. I brought so much peach soju to your New Year's, and
man, we were drinking
I didn't get drunk. I walked home the
same
amount. I just walked home. But hopefully, as this year wraps up, we'll have more adventures since we are all happy and outside and having fun in Australia and Americas.
As long as Omicron Persei I8 doesn't fucking come for us, but
Omicron,
exactly.
Omicron
Persei 9 is the breeding planet where all the little babies were that they got taken up by the future.
The nibblers were they nibblers?
No, they're little popcorn chicken guys.
Poplars, that's what they were.
Yeah, the poplars.
Nibblers, the little guy that
slightly racist sounding.
Yeah, exactly. Pop a popular mouth. If you come to Fishy Joe's, because Fishy Joe's is a reference to what's seafood restaurant in the stateside? Fuck! What is it called, Jen? What's it called?
Fishtown.
Bubba Gump Shrimp
You were
Company?
Screaming and you totally cut out.
Yeah.
Typical Discord. So what's the fish restaurant in America?
Long John Silver's.
Long John Silver's probably there.
Oh no, I think he's talking about Red Lobster.
Captain D's?
I don't know. D's nuts.
Red Lobster. They're all shit. They're all shit.
Exactly. We know
I'm very, very picky about seafood because it just reminds me of pussy.
God, you know what?
Okay.
You know who's also got a pussy and who's also good? That's my friend Jenna. Jenna, what are you working on, matey?
Pussy.
Yo!
She's a nurse.
White women, am I right, guys?
Do you know what? Honestly, I've gotten derailed on shit that I'm working on.
Yes.
I'm working on something that's hopefully not going to be too boring. I think it's something that's really interesting. It's you'll see whatever. We'll see whatever comes out, but it may or may not have to do with pussy.
Upload it tomorrow.
Upload it to MySpace.
Yeah.
It's almost as sus as the imposter from Among Us. But you know who's also sus? That's my good friend Mr. Charles Carr. Which, by the way, actually hold on, Charles. You went through some hard shit.
No. We don't want to talk about that. We're the meme bastard. We post memes. Mask_bastard. The funniest. I have everything. I got it all. You want memes? I got the memes.
He's got the memes and he's got the dreams.
Come on down to Charles Meme Emporium. He's got a meme where the man says.
The thing I was going to talk about, Charles, is the new addition to Smite, because that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I say because if you don't follow Charles, all his iconography is of Michelangelo, correct?
Yeah, Ninja Turtles. It's something fun, and it's such a goofy expression, that one that I use. I just love it. It's so funny. It makes me laugh when I see it, and I guess it makes other people laugh because he's just got his mouth open like, oh?
Exactly, and he's always a gem. But if you want to follow Mr. Kudos, that is patreon.com/ManyKudos, youtube.com, ManyKudos, youtube.com, Beef Boys. And I will say, please go and check out Incognito Mode for the newest episode.
It's a very funny one.
Absolutely. There's so much kudos. Because you know what? I give kudos to my friend Kudos because he's my best friend, and I love him, and I love all my friends.
Thank you,
he's
thank
your
you,
best
Thomas.
Friend. He don't need no lift. He's your best friend.
Exactly. Because we did have a Thanksgiving episode, but I'm thankful for you all. I'm thankful for everyone listening.
Oh, thank you. I'm not, but yeah, thanks for.
Exactly. But you know what? I want everyone to stay thankful, and I want them to stay weird. And we'll see.
And Christmas is the time for snowballing. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Snowball of prayer.